Some people hate it when we talk about options beyond your 9 to 5 paycheck. And they actually think that people like myself, or maybe like you, who are looking for other options of creating income, they think we're crazy. Okay. They think it's risky. They think it doesn't lead anywhere, and they think everything is a scam. But in this video, I'm going to talk to you about why it's actually very risky for you to rely solely on a 9 to 5 paycheck. And I honestly think the biggest lie is people assuming that risk is only related to change, but actually, not changing is a risk. If your income is not growing, if your skills are not being developed, if you're actually limited with opportunities, you're not even able to get a promotion, that is a huge risk. And it's actually limiting your future earning potential. It is very common nowadays to see companies restructure, change positions, and things are just changing all the time. So when you're just relying on one paycheck, that becomes extremely risky. That is why creating options is important. True financial security comes from creating options, not depending on a single paycheck. Okay. Now, but let's talk about inflation. Everything is becoming more expensive while you still rely on the same paycheck you were relying on last year. And yes, we can both agree that the paycheck feels safe. However, your purchasing power is shrinking. But the worst part is not anything I just mentioned. The worst part is actually staying in a 9 to 5 because you fear what would happen if you were to seek out other options. And let me just say that is completely understandable. That is one reason why I always tell women that you don't have to quit your 9 to 5 yet. You can actually start building options while you work your 9 to 5, and your options don't have to be complicated. The fear of not having a stable income is 100% legit. When you say you don't want to leave your 9 to 5, I understand that. However, I do encourage people and I teach women how to build options while they work their 9 to 5. Okay. This is very important because not only are you going to keep your paycheck, but you're also building options alongside that paycheck. Okay. What this means is that you're building either a digital business, you're creating content, you are representing brands, or whatever it is that you want to do at the same time that you're still working your 9 to 5. The goal is not for you to just quit your 9 to 5 recklessly and dive into this adventure of making money online. It's actually a plan, okay? And I do talk a lot about planning because it is so important to plan your finances. And it's also important to plan how you're going to make money, okay? So, one of the things that I teach women in my community is how to build income online through their experience, their skills, their knowledge, everything that they already know, because that is the easiest way you can start building options out of your 9 to 5. Okay. Now, this is for women who already know, okay, you are 100% certain that as of right now, you're stuck in your 9 to 5. You feel that your pay is not going to go anywhere. You feel that your career is not going to go anywhere. And at this point, you're probably the most knowledgeable person within your group. Okay. So within your company, you might be, or your department. So within your department, you might be one of the most knowledgeable people. So people who come in, they can learn from you. However, you have no one to teach you anything. Okay. And that is very dangerous because what I have seen over and over again is that people get taken advantage of and they do not get any type of financial benefit from that. Okay. So we've seen that. Anyone in corporate has seen situations where a person is very knowledgeable, whether that person gained that knowledge within that company or whether that person brings that knowledge from elsewhere, they get taken advantage of. Okay. And we want to avoid being taken advantage of, but also we want to create options for ourselves. We want our knowledge, our skills to be valued, and we want to be able to make an impact. I cannot tell you how many times I invested a lot of time training people and helping people build skills to see them go so quickly. And then I felt like, well, I didn't get anything from the company. And then I didn't even see this person move to the next step because they quit or whatever may have happened. So it feels like a waste of time. Although you're getting paid while you're doing this, it feels like a waste of time to me, at least. Okay. And that is why for me it is more meaningful to teach people that I can actually follow through and I can actually see them succeed with the skills and knowledge that I teach them. So if you're ready to create those options, the first thing you need to do is you need to begin your financial plan. Okay. How much money do I need to have saved, or how much money should I be making online before I quit my 9 to 5? With that in mind, begin saving. Okay. So begin saving how much money you're going to need before you quit your 9 to 5, and focus on that goal. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to start saving that money. Okay. So you're going to give that goal a number, whether that may be 10,000, 20,000, whatever it may be for you, start saving. Okay. For myself, I know that I want to make enough to pay all my bills, or I want to be able to pay off all of my debt before I quit my 9 to 5, because I don't want to have the burden of debt if I don't have a set income. Okay. So I want to make enough money online to pay off all of my debt and enough to pay my bills before I quit my 9 to 5. So as you're watching this video, quitting my 9 to 5 may take a year to 2 years or even more, depending on how fast I can actually make this extra income. The third thing you should do is you should start building skills that actually will help you achieve that goal. So yeah, I do talk about using the skills and knowledge you already have, but there may be skills that you still need to develop in order to be able to earn income online. For example, I am creating content. That is not a skill that I had previously, but I have had to learn how to make content, how to edit videos, okay? How to create sales pages, all of these things, because those things are necessary for the online world. Okay. And you need to learn how to do that. Okay. Maybe you have awesome skills teaching something, let's say teaching how to cook, but you don't know how to manage a computer. You don't know how to create a simple sales page. You don't know how to create content, or you may need to learn how to sell. Okay. That is one of the things that I teach in my academy. I teach women actually how to sell, because a lot of women that come in don't know the sales part of the online business. Those are skills that you might have to develop if you want to earn an income online and create options for yourself. The next thing is create a plan for where you want to go next. So identify where you are right now, okay? And where do you want to go next, okay? For myself, I have a 9 to 5. I am building my online business, which involve creating digital products and creating a community of women who will be learning from me all of the skills that I have. Okay. That is my plan. Where do I want to take that? Okay. I want by next year, by the end of 2027, I want to have a community of 1,000 women learning how to create options for themselves beyond their paycheck. And you can create a simple plan like that for yourself. I hope this video motivated you, and I hope that it opened your eyes to more options beyond your paycheck. And if you have any questions on how to create your plan, let me know in the comments, because I would love to create another video giving you additional tips. And I'll see you in the next video. Blessings.